Hello and welcome to Q&A number 3. Right, I thought I would crack a cold one while we do this. So, and I thought we'd be in the dark. Right, first question. Let's get right into it. Oh, by the way, that little thing I just did in the intro, that was my very first time ever doing a first take. Usually I'm like many takes. We're not talking about Uncle Larry here. I'm little Paul Cook from Edinburgh. I take blinking God knows how many takes. I'm not the session man who can just do it on demand. God, I'd hate to be a session player. Can you imagine the nerves of being a session player? Paul, could you do that take again? It was frankly shit. Right, Songline Art asks, question. By the way, how are you doing, man? I speak to you a lot on my channel. Pedals worth having, or should I say what 3 or 23 pedals would you like? Right, Hudson Broadcast Dual. Awesome. I'm not a big pedal guy. I tend to even get my overdrive from the amp if I can first, if the amp has a way of getting drive at house volumes. But let's face it, things like the Supro, you have to have a drive pedal. So I'm not the man to ask, but if you're asking, Hudson Broadcast Dual. By the way, I'm not sponsored and never have been by anybody. I love it. Hudson Broadcast Dual. I seem to like old-fashioned, lo-fi, frayed at the edges kind of sounds, and I love the Broadcast. It's never been off my board. Tone City Sweet Cream. Cheapest chips. Absolutely love that pedal. I loved it from the first moment I got it, and I just love it. Sometimes it comes off the board to be interchanged with that, which is this pedal was given to me by one of my subscribers, Jeff Martin. So I love this pedal. It's a lovely fat warm overdrive, but at the moment it's off the board and being replaced by the Tone City Sweet Cream. Other pedals worth having. You'll laugh, but this is the first time I've ever tried a foot pedal tuner. So I bought the little Polytune, a little black Polytune. I absolutely love it. You probably know I love my Digitech Freakout, where you play the note, and then it's down here. You play the note and you push the button and it turns it into feedback. Love that. I love my Strymon Flint. That's never been off the board since I arrived. I just love it. I actually prefer the reverb on the Strymon Flint to any other reverb, even the Cornell. Sometimes I will just go for the Flint reverb. Love it. A I've got a bunch of other pedals that neither here nor there, but those are the ones that are stand out for me. Pedals that I want. I've never tried a clone circuit, so a J-Rocket Archer, be nice to try that. I've never tried a real tube screamer. I'd love to try that. Don't think I would like it, but I think I'd like to try it. I've never really fell in love with any fuzz yet. I'm currently using the Greer Amps Super Hornet, but I've got a funny feeling that I'm going to end up with a fuzz face. That might be really what I've always, the sound in my head. So I'm still on the lookout for a good fuzz. That's the pedals that are on my radar to try. I've no particular desire to buy that pedal that everybody gets. What's that one? Oh God, it's a dual overdrive. I can't, it's almost up there with the Klon in terms of desirability. The second-hand prices are higher. You know the one, I mean, the King of Tone. There you go. See, I could hear you. The King of Tone. No particular desire to try that. Right, so I hope that answers your question. I'll do a video very soon on my pedal board because I have got rid of some pedals. And like even the Greer Amps Lightspeed, that's revered in pedal world. I didn't ever really bond with it long term. I got rid of it. Anyway, next question from Michael Roberts. Paul, how about a vid on rhythm styles? Country, shuffles, riffs, etc. What do you think? Oh, I don't know, because I'm kind of just a lead player. Country shuffles I've done. That sort of is a blues one, or my favourite. That sort of thing. So I could do a video on that. Is there enough in that though? I'm not a rhythm guy. I'm not a riff guy. You notice I don't bash power chords. I certainly don't. I'm just not a basher. And I'm not a riffer. I'm not a riffer either. I've never been into riffs. My favourite is Life in the Fast Lane. I loved playing that on stage in the band. But I'm not a riff guy. And I'm not a chord basher. So I don't know if I'm the guy. But if you're interested, there's A7. There's a D. Elvis style. Start with that and then work in various things. And it's amazing how much you can build and build and build. Maybe I'll do a video on that one day. But people ask me for acoustic blues lessons as well. I don't even know what to do. I wouldn't know where to begin. I'm just not that Robert Johnson authentic kind of blues player. I'm a Robin Ford wannabe, truth be told. Kevin Blythe. Great insight, Paul, into your melodic approach to your guitar. Thanks for sharing. But do you still have the katana in your arsenal? Good question. I do have the katana. It's in the cupboard. It's not on display here. I still maintain it blew me away when I got it. But let's face it, when you watch my channel, there was lots of katana stuff at the start. And then it seems to have gotten less and less with the occasional comeback. I've had a few comebacks where I thought, what a great amp this is. And it really is a great amp. But does it do this? I just know there's a touchy-feely thing with valves. The smell, the warmth, physical warmth from them, the feel, it's hard to describe. So I still have my katana, but it's getting played less and less, if I'm honest, in favour of my valve amps. And these videos, best amp for home use, valve amp. I truly, truly, truly believe that. The best amp for home use, valve amp. Doesn't make any sense, but as long as your valve amp has an ability, either an attenuator, or I'm using the Marshall at the moment, a gain, it has both an attenuator and a gain knob, a separate gain knob, a separate master volume. Same as the Vox. I just love them. I'm falling in love more and more with old valve amps. And even the Supro with the pedals, I still prefer it to the Katana, truth be told, but I don't think I could ever get rid of my Katana because it is so close to the valve amp, especially on the clean setting that I like with the gain on full. It's so close that if I did ever decide to gig again, it'd be a real option just to get in the boot of the car. Even as a spare, if the valve amp went down on stage, I could run back out, get the Katana out, and I'd be very relaxed at the Katana covering my ass. Because, let's face it, it's a great amp. Next one. Kenny Murray asks, what type of picks do you prefer? Thank you, Kenny. Nobody ever asks that. When I was a kid, don't know how, but the local guitar shop, Stafford Street in Edinburgh, I think it was called Simpsons, sold plastic shark fins. I started on the red ones, which are really flimsy, very quickly went on to the white ones, and I have never, and I don't think I will ever change. You just get used to something. This is quite forgiving. A lot of people say use a hard pick, something really unforgiving and da-da-da-da, and all the reasons for that. And that's fine and well, but I'll never give up my shark fins. Hope that helps. I don't, by the way, use the serrated edge. I just use the shoulder. Next one, from We Are Gruhack. What volume pots do you use on the Telecaster? And did I change the electronics at all? Yeah, it's probably my most commonly asked question. See if I can do this without dropping the damn thing. No, just 250k there and there. But funny you should ask that, because in the post tonight from Bare Knuckle Pickups, this is really annoying me. Whenever I try and do tone swells, I get this, jeez. And to be honest, when I first got the guitar, the volume pot was doing it, so I got the guitar tech to throw it in the bin and just get me the same value, 250k, but a bare knuckle one, and that cured the problem. But the tone one started doing it, and I used contact spray, but you can't be doing Roy Buchanan's with this. And so I think they were defective from the very start. So this is going to be getting replaced with a bare knuckle pot, nice good quality audio pot. But the headline newsflash is, everybody said I maybe should have upgraded to 500k because of this. And it's the one niggle I've had with this guitar, thinking, sometimes I'm going to the amp to add an extra treble if I want to do really Roy Buchanan type stuff. So I've ordered a 550k pot. Bare Nickel promptly phoned me and said, you've got in the notes that it's a Fender Telecaster. If you got a humbucker on that, because normally I would want to sell you a 250k, they do 280k I think. So I reassured him that I had the humbucker and I would love to try the higher value pot, because I can always turn down the thing. So I'll be doing a video with a before and after. So far 250k, very shortly I'll have a 250k volume pot, but a 550k, a 550k tone pot. So that'll be good to see what that'll do, if anything. Next question. This one's a doozy. What a great question from James Rogers. Responding to your invitation for ideas to what put on your channel, please consider how one gets the ability to hear a melody in the mind, then translate it to the guitar. Having a reasonable amount of training in theory, I find it often jams the switchboard, when all I really want to do is play relaxing music, and these put boxes, Ionians, circles of fifths can be defeating. And I think the reason he's asking me is because I don't know what, a box is something you put tissues in. Ionians, that's one of these islands off Greece, is it not? Circles of fifths, that sounds like a religion. So I don't know what any of these things are. So maybe that's why you're asking me, James, because I'm not a theory guy. Well, for all my musical life, it's all been ear, and I can't completely poo-poo theory, because if you don't have an ear, then you'll need the theory. But can you develop? So I was just lucky. I was born with a good ear, or an ear that could hear. I was also born with lots of creativity. Some people are very creative, some people are not. I guess a lot of it starts with my noodling. So I'll be noodling away, because I'm a listener, I listen lots to other musicians. I noodle away and I play rubbish and all my blues nonsense. And I'll hit a note like that by mistake. Instead of going silly me, I think whenever I hit it by mistake, I think that sounds like something I've heard. And suddenly, woof, I'm off now. That's me gone. I'm thinking. And I start thinking, yeah, that's like that guy I heard on the internet the other day, or that's like that Larry Carlton thing. And then I start exploring it. And as I start to play, I'm open to, it's just, I guess the answer is, I'm just lucky I was born with a good creative brain. I guess it develops. You could get, if you don't have a good ear or a very creative mind like that, you could probably develop it. Yeah, I think just listening to other players. So in my head, I know what Larry Carlton sounds like. In my head, I know what Robin Ford sounds like. In my head, I've got an idea of what Tom Bukovac might do. I certainly know what Knopfler might do. And so I've got all these landmarks in my brain. Tom Bukovac actually did something the other day, and I sit there thinking, like a vulture hovering over the kill. I'm thinking, don't want that, move on Tom, move on, keep going. That's it, what did you do there? And I find little bits pop out and I think, because he's not like me, he's not a blueser, he's into bloody prog rock and Genesis and weird stuff like that just goes pshew. So a lot of what Tom Bukovac does, I'm like, yeah, don't want to know, whoa, back up Tom, what did you do there? So that's why I watch him very carefully, because I can't write the guy off. He comes out with too many great nuggets, and vultures like me will just swoop down. So the other day he did something like this. That, what is that chord? And so I'm having me some of that. So that should really be an A chord. So there's your A, and that would be the A. But no, he's dropped it a semitone, making it, when you drop the root note of a chord, you make it kind of a major seventh-y sound. So I guess you're really saying that that is an A major 7. So now I know that chord there is 2 frets down from the root. So if ever I'm playing a track and I want to go 2 frets down from the root, how nice would it be, instead of going to go. So now I've pinched it, you see, it's mine now, and he's not getting it back. So I'm a great vulture. I just hover around and I steal, and then when you steal it, and I can't even remember where I stuck it in, but I've used it already. I'm already got it in one of my YouTube vids. And it sounds nothing like the Tom Bukovac thing. So he wouldn't listen to it and go, you've pinched that off of me. But that one little bit, I've stole it. And I can't remember how I incorporated it now. I'd have to go back and check. So that leads to me being more, more creative. I'll do that, and then that takes me down rabbit holes, and I get into that, and then I think, that bit I did there by mistake sounds a bit like Robin Ford, and before you know it, I'm off. So I think the answer is I listen to lots of different players, and I'm just very lucky. I'm very creative, and I can close my eyes and imagine where I want the playing to go. Sometimes it just suggests itself, but sometimes I can think, what was that? I could do with that kind of chord like I heard on Tom Bukovac's the other day. What was that chord he did again? And I'll think, that didn't fit in mine. Why did it fit in his? Well, because it was 2 frets down from the root. Well, could I get that sound in? Can I rewrite my song to go 2 frets down from the root and get it in? And that's how my brain works. I'm just such a wee thief, honestly. They'll find out about me one day, and they'll be calling the music cops. Hope that answers your question. Next one is from Kevin. The P90s worked so well with Cornell. Can you tell us something about that Les Paul? and he's referring to the gold top. So hopefully you can now see the video I recently did all about my gold top and giving the full story on the gold top. Next question. Pablo de Gregory official. Can you please explain me the Gary Moore sequence? Thank you. Okay, what he means is, I've had somebody else contact me on email and say, Paul, would you mind show me what you did with that Gary Moore sequence? All it is it's not even a Gary Moore sequence, it's a Paul Cook sequence, but the point is it makes me think of Gary Moore. When I think of Gary Moore, he's the guy for me that was the hard rock blues player who manages to squeeze in notes that are so Spanish or Latin or something. He's got this Spanishy style of playing, and I found out how he's doing it. And so when I invented a wee lick for myself that fitted into one of my little things that I wrote, but to me it reminds me of Gary Moore. So it's something like this. And it would be specifically played if you're in A minor over your 5 chord. That type of thing. So all it was, I'll do it once in very slow motion because I put it on a little video for him and I sent it to him via WhatsApp in slow motion. But I'll just do it here if you're interested. It's a great thing to practice and it forces you to get away from that. Right? Or watch this. I'll come closer. Practice that. It's a great wee thing to... I can't even do it either, but there you go. So that's the wee Gary Moore sequence that I like to incorporate, or things of that nature, into my playing a lot. Next one. From Danny793. Got a mutual love of Martin Knopfler. Could you do a video on what you learned from Martin Knopfler? Really intrigued to see how you use his stuff to influence. Well, I did a video kind of covering some of that. I think it was Mark Knopfler Tones and Techniques. I think it's called Mark Knopfler. I'll just tell you exactly just now what it's called. I'll just double check my channel. Yes, it's called Boss Katana / Knopfler Tones and Techniques. So centered around doing that on the katana. So do watch that. It's from 27th of April 2019, Boss Katana / Knopfler Tones and Techniques. Yes, to answer your question, to me, putting the pick down definitely helps. My mindset changes and I think, what do I want to emulate? So I've got the backing track or whatever that I'm wanting to play on, and I might, when I think of the plectrum, I think of I'm going in hard, I'm going in to sort of play hot licks and loads of techniques. But if I take the plectrum and put it away, suddenly my brain wants to do this. And although that isn't Knopfler, it's much more conducive to that sort of thing he would do. And so my mindset changes, and I probably play less notes when I'm thinking about Martin Knopfler. I definitely do walk up chords. To me, that's a very Knopfler thing to do. But yeah, just thinking about, closing my eyes and thinking about what would Knopfler do. How many times have I said that when I've been trying to write a little jam? I'll be hitting my head against a brick wall with one particular technique and I think, right, stop, just stop. What would Knopfler do? And that might be the answer. Or what would Tom Bukovac do now? Or what would Gary Moore do? And so I tend to take my initial inspiration from my heroes. So with Martin Knopfler, less is more. And I think, is there anything beautiful I can do? Rather than hot, like Gary Moore, is there anything beautiful I can do, like Knopfler? And often the answer is no. Last one of the day, Richard Parker, referring to the lesson that I did, beginner to advanced in one lesson, very recent video I did on blues. saying, the lesson that no one wants to tell you is that there is only one way to improve above the basic levels, and that is to put in uncountable hours of constant and intense practice, both alone and with a live band. Starting young with family support helps immensely. Without that, you will remain just a solitary noodler. There's simply no huge incentive to hit the notes precisely, hit the chord tones, stay in the pocket, and play whole songs without hesitation and stopping halfway through. Yes, so much of that, most of that I totally agree with. This incentive to hit the notes correctly, be in time. Yeah, being in a covers band or any band, people moaning at you, or you looking at your colleagues thinking, what can you not be in time for? You very quickly get together with that. However, I heard Albert Lee once say on his Hot Licks videos, his VHS tapes, and I disagree with it then, and I still disagree with it now. He said, you know, playing in your bedrooms only take you so far. Get out and play with a band. And whilst there's a, hang on, I'm getting a bit thirsty. Well, there's a hell of a lot of truth in that. I think I've probably got more out of being in the house. I think being in a band does help you to be like a little soldier. Come on the beat. There's your solo. You only get one take and you will muck it up. So get ready to roll with the punches there and just improvise something else. So yes, the band gave me a hell of a lot, but actually getting better and better and better and better and better, and my vocabulary getting bigger and bigger and bigger, that was bedroom time. That wasn't the band. I came up with 1% in the band. I came up with the other 99% in the bedroom. So I just want to say that for some people there will be no incentive to hit the notes bang on and do all this pitch and stuff that I talk about. But if you love your hobby, your golf swing or your guitar or whatever it is, then yeah, you have a personal pride in it. And if you tape yourself and listen to it and you hear yourself singing off key and you want to get good at it, you will put in the time. So I disagree with that part of it. I have got a hell of a lot out of sitting in my bedroom, and if I had never joined a band, I think I would still be as technically able as I am now. I think the band gave me what do you call that when you're in the army or whatever, or not the army, when you're in sports. I'm not a sports guy or an army guy. Match fit, that's it. They call it match fit. So you can be super fit, but when you go and get kicked around on a field for however many minutes they play football, you get this thing called match fit, where you can actually get up again and just get back on with it. So I guess being in a band gets you match fit and your fingers get really hard. But no, I could have been just as good with being in the bedroom, because I love it. I love it. And I've got Robin Ford to show me the way. You know, in this world where you've got YouTube, there's no excuse. If you want it that much and you listen to Rock Palace, I keep going on about that performance, I'll be forever pursuing that. And I will have my own standards to try and get like that. So, but yes, there's a hell of a lot of truth for many people in that. I don't know what you take from that, but there you go. Right, time to go and finish this beer, and hope this one hasn't dragged on too long, and I'll see you in the next Q&A. So by all means fire your questions at me, and I'll log them for the next Q&A vid. Right, this is me and Mr. 335 signing out. Adios.